Uh, it's crazy, man. Like, we live in the same time, bro. We live in a time where academics are trying to justify pedophilia, where we have a megalomaniac as the president of the United States who claims to be a genius. A stable genius at that. You can't be a megalomaniac and a fucking stable genius. And it's just like, what the fuck is a stable genius? You know? What are you, an unstable genius? What is there? And there are unstable geniuses. I'm an unstable genius. But goddamn, bro, come on. I can back my genius up with fucking actual motherfucking, observable phenomenon in nature to support that I'm a genius. You know, if Trump is a genius, we're all fucking geniuses. Fuck it. You know, everybody's a goddamn genius. And in reality, we all are. Genius is just what are you a genius at? That's the intellectual genius is the only, and artistic genius seem to be the only genius that we, admire in our society. We don't, we don't seem to really see anything outside of intellectual and like sports genius. We do to a certain extent see sports genius, but we just don't put it on the same level as intellectual and artistic genius. When in actuality, it's as much genius. You know what I'm saying? Michael Jordan is as much of a sports genius. Fucking Abraham. Muhammad Ali was as much as of a sports genius as any other. You know what I'm saying? Bruce Lee. Kinesthetic geniuses in their particular field of genius. Or particular field, and they display genius. So I don't know. And then artistic genius. You can say fucking Denzel Washington or Robert Downey Jr. are geniuses. They are geniuses, but artistically geniuses, and therefore they're going to be seen more as socially acceptable geniuses. But then even then, as much talent, as much innate talent as it takes to be a skilled, fucking actor, it's still not seen as genius. And genius is just that. It's an innate ability to like Kobe, fucking LeBron. They're geniuses. They have an innate ability to perform a particular task. Basketball. That's a certain level of genius. It's innate. It's to the point that they are prodigies. Kobe was a prodigy. Fucking LeBron was a prodigy. So in the very true sense of the word, they're geniuses. A prodigy is a genius. Yeah. So you got to look at him. If Prince is a genius, and Prince was a genius as a result of his progeny, just like fucking Michael Jackson, genius because of his innate ability, to perform, to dance, to entertain, to sing, his incredible, sense of timing, his rhythm, those things made Michael Jackson stand apart from everybody else. Just like Prince's, musical genius, and the fact that he was a prodigy in relationship to I might be using progeny wrong because your progeny could be I guess that could be in the progeny as well. But yeah, Prince was played every instrument by the age of 12. That's an innate ability to play music or perform music. And he stood heads and shoulders above everybody else in his field. Whitney Houston, for that matter. You can think of a few other. What the fuck happened to my fucking trays though? Shit just be disappearing, man. I don't know. I couldn't find my key for my fucking what you call a key for a minute? Let me find my mailbox key. Oh yeah, and I'll talk about this okie doke shit, but it's really not okie doke because I can't unless it's necessary in my journey towards mental health. So I'm not gonna say it's okie doke, and that in itself is an inferiority complex. That's speaking is that I feel that my own personal experiences are somehow okie doke, and I mean, in a sense, they are in relationship to larger, macro problems, group problems, and so forth. But they're just as if I can find solutions to groups to larger problems, and the means of me finding solutions to those larger problems is getting over the minor problems that or the problems that seem large to me is the big sty in my eye or the lumbering limb in my eye, which is really what it is. It's instead of telling people to get the sty out of their eye, I need to get the lumbering motherfucking, limb out of my eye. And it's the lumbering limb that clouds my vision in relationship to my authenticity or my psychological stability, my mental stability, my psychological and emotional stability, as far as deriving my person from authentic experiences. So, that's the truly psychologically or mentally healthy individual is one derived from your authentic experiences. So I'm at this point where I have to determine what are my authentic experiences because I was raised primarily by a narcissistic parent whose goal is, you know, whose modus operandi is to make a person uncertain of their own mental capacity or mental capabilities in relationship to intelligence, in relationship to memory, in relationship to competence, period, cognitive competence, period, in order to foster codependency. That only her depiction of reality, only her depiction of reality is the real depiction of reality, and however skew she wants my depiction of reality is going to be is entirely unimportant. Is insignificant in relationship to her emotional needs, because it's all about her emotional needs. It's not about my emotional needs. It's about her emotional needs, and therefore she becomes apathetic as a result of it. So I have a very sound theory. My mother does suffer from the symptoms or that are associated with a narcissistic personality disorder, and with Munchausen by proxy in relationship with mental, a mental variation of or psychological variation of because it's a psychological problem, so you got to call it. But it's not her Munchausen is not directed towards my physical being is directed towards my mental being, my psychological being. So therefore, even my intelligence has to be questioned. And any lying about the like my GED, lying about my accomplishments in Buffalo, distorting my accomplishments in Atlanta, my academic accomplishments, because that is in relationship to my mental stability, in relationship to my ability to gain a certain level of independence, which she doesn't want me to have, or didn't want me to have, and would go through whatever means and she'd have to do in order to get it. Now, I didn't go to Brian's little thing with the fucking goddamn one. I don't trust the nigga as far as I could throw him. I don't trust his mother. As far as I'm concerned, it wouldn't be paranoid to think of them possibly setting me up and trying to throw me into a fucking mental hospital, because it's not like they haven't set me up and thrown me in a mental hospital before. Not saying that that's what the case was or what it was, but it ain't got shit to do with me. And anything that Brian needs to resolve with Carol, he needs to resolve with Carol without me, being involved. I don't need to have nothing to do with that shit. So that being said, I still have the responsibility of getting my mental house in order, my emotional and psychological house in order, because I have compelling evidence to support the fact that it is in disorder based upon the narcissistic behavior of my mother and brother, and flying monkeys and so forth and so on, and that it's not just the neurological configuration of my brain that leads to this my mental health issues. They've been actually deliberately aggravated by an outside force, or an outside force which derived from my mother. Yeah. my biological mother, Carol Yvonne Jones. And even her interactions with Brian right now are fucking, support the fact that she suffers from a severe narcissistic personality disorder or an extremely severe. Because, if what Brian is describing is accurate, her behavior is indicative where the point that she's like forgotten that she signed, documents, that she made certain agreements, that she has resorted to narcissistic, manic, not just behavior, because she has narcissistic, manic behavior as a whole, but she's resorted to narcissistic, manic tactics in, where she's just like, I'm crazy, Brian's crazy. He's threatening me. He's, doing all these things when he's just trying to motherfucking serve you in relationship to an agreement, a legally binding agreement that you guys entered into together. It's like, and I'm like, dude, until you offer me some money, you offer me my money back, at least my $2,500. You know what I'm saying? We don't have shit to talk about, Brian. I mean, really, to tell you honest, God's truth, and I didn't want to say that at the house because I know I understand what grounds I was on. You're not gonna. But seriously, at the end of the day, dude, y'all neglected to fulfill your part of the motherfucking bargain. And the thing about it is, Brian knew from the get-go that he could not fulfill his bargain. Because everybody at Section 8 told me, your brother couldn't have done that. He couldn't have switched his apartment over to you. So he was lying to you from the very get-go. So you literally fucking, fucking goddamn con me out of fucking $4,000, Brian. And I'm not going to mention that because he couldn't take, I conned you out of 4,000. You were supposed to get this fucking apartment afterwards, so on and so forth. Because it wasn't like, oh, I just paid these people fucking goddamn, some upwards of $15,000 and just to be able to motherfucking get kicked out of the house and live on the street. There were certain fucking agreements that we came to that Brian neglected. Oh, we were going to put these in writing and never put in writing. Oh, I forgot we were going to put them into writing because I always planned on fucking you. Now it's like, when I see him, it's like, well, I told you not to give that bitch any money and and she was going to do this and that, do that. We both have reasons to not trust her. Dude, if we both have reasons not to trust her, why do you want me in her house? And then why are you talking about, because I have Leah as a witness when we actually got kicked out of the house and on the street. He's talking about, well, I told you not to live with her and to get your own place. Wait a minute, what is it? You either took money in with the, under the conditions that I would move into the motherfucking house, that y'all would do what you've already done, what they've done anyway, because they got a loan. They ended up renting out. Taking over the entire deed to the house. That was supposed to originally happen. They were supposed to move into the house. Carol and fucking whoever the fuck she was living with was supposed to move into some other place, fucking board of care, nigga, goddamn, an apartment or whatever. And I was supposed to take Brian's apartment. That is the only reason that I agreed to the circumstances in the first place, because, hey, dude, at the end of the day, I wanted a Section 8 apartment. It was going to be cheaper to have that Section 8 apartment, plus whatever money Brian put on top of it, I would have been able to afford with no problem. But there were other fucking contributing, circumstances. Or, one being Crystal. Brian says Crystal wasn't a factor now. She was a factor. Me giving Carol money could not possibly have been a factor because it had absolutely nothing to do with it. Because Brian didn't use the money that I gave him to do the things that he said that he was going to do with the money, which was I ended up paying for the shit that was done in the house anyway. I ended up paying fucking for the construction in the house, in the garage, the repairs in the garage. Brian didn't pay for none of that shit. I ended up paying for the shit. So the whole idea was that I was going to give Brian a certain amount of money for rent. And Brian was going to use that money in order to make certain repairs in the house. And that I was not going to be obligated to give Carol any more money. Now, Brian gave me the impression that he was in the legal position to do this, but he wasn't. He hadn't acquired the legal right to do this yet, but gaslighted me into believing that he had the legal right to do it. And I'm not saying